Hey there, a quick video on microgreen sowing update. So the students have been sowing microgreens as one of their assignments, and I just sort of wanted to show you a few things as we're going along. So this is not the setup I had, but this gives you an idea of the setup I had when doing microgreens indoors. So on here I have a baby electric blanket which serves as a heat mat. Because my trays are not waterproof, I do have a plastic lining over top, and this was set up on a timer. And again, this isn't showing you what would happen, but basically once the seeds had germinated, I would then put them under lights which were on a different unit and no heat pad, so that yep, there was definitely a different aspect going on here. But I just wanted you to see that. I have modified this because I'm growing a lot more seedlings than I am doing microgreens, but this gives you an idea of the setup. Okay, so this is kind of what I wanted to show you. Germination is, keeping them in the dark and forcing them to grow so that you get a quick turnover. Aspects of heat and moisture definitely affect growth and the type of seed. I mentioned that through trial and error, some responded well to blocks, some didn't, and so on and so forth. There's definitely an aspect of learning your micros and learning the ideal growing conditions, but this gives you an indication of sort of when we're starting to go. That's not ready to take out, but that's all germinated. I think that's the pak choi, and you can see that's looking quite happy. It's yellow, it doesn't have photosynthesis happening. Same with the sunflowers, they're just starting to sprout now, so I'll keep an eye on those. That's another sunflower under there without a lid, so you can sort of see that those seeds, I don't know if you can see that, but I can see the seeds are popping up more than they are on that third one. These were ones which we sowed just over a week ago, and the students did them. Over here I've got an example of, this is probably, I think this was a cress. Now I wanted to show you those that white aspect there. So a lot of people confuse that as mold. That is not mold, that is your root hairs on your seedlings. This is what happens in nature, but normally it's under the ground so we don't see it. But that's I always find that really fascinating to show people. Yeah, and we've just got different ones here. Again, actually that's the peppercress. Don't know what this one is, maybe rocket, I'm not sure. More sunflowers. What's that one? Don't know, but again you can really see those white hair fibers popping up under there. Yes, back in the day I did actually have labels, and I was just a bit lazy. This was an example of using a different container. These were the containers that I sent out in my Grow Your Own kits, and this is where I've got the peas. There is an idea of having a paper layer so that you can monitor the moisture. Definitely a thing, and you can see that those peas are starting to sprout, and we're just going to keep them under cover, keep them moist, and come back and view those later. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little wander outside, and we'll do a little horizon thing while I'm walking to show you the ones which I put in the greenhouse. Now initially I've never had a greenhouse before, like an outside greenhouse, and so I thought, well, let's see what happens if I pop the micros out here. And yeah, and basically the way, I think there's definitely a different technique would needed to be utilized. They fried, basically. It was too hot with that lid on them. But so I've ended up sort of just taking that lid off and saying good luck little seeds and see where you go. And they're actually doing really well, but it's definitely taken much longer than sowing on the indoor unit. So those peas are only just starting to come up now. Sunflowers are actually too far gone. You see the cotyledon leaf and the first true leaf, or second leaf as sometimes it's called. To me, once it gets that second leaf on a sunflower, it's too bitter, and so it's really important to get them when they're like that. That is tasty and delicious. that is too bitter for my liking. That rocket there, that is ready to cut. The radish, that needs a little bit longer. You can see those stems. It's a long stem, large leaf micro. It's got a lot of flavour in it. Yeah, really tasty. See those peas, they're doing okay. A comment that came up about peas rotting. Yeah, it's really a thing with micros, and often I will go through and I can see that one there isn't doing, that one's okay, but that one's not doing so great, so I'd take it out. I'd make sure that that didn't infect the whole layer. And then over here, this is the red cabbage that we have over here, and I'm just reshuffling things. I did top water because I was lazy, but usually it is much better practice to bottom feed. So that's just an example of what I mean by that, and that's that you have, this is not a good example, but you'd have a shallow container of water, and instead of dipping the whole container, putting moisture on the top, you would just let that absorb through the base, literally for about 3 seconds, and you can feel the weight difference in the container, and that was my indicator that that plant had been watered enough. So yeah, little update, hope that helps you in your journey.